Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of For Sits and Gigs. Today with me I have Sarah Barclay, aka Floc. Hello. Sarah. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. It's nice to see the sun finally coming out.
I know. I'm 100% nocturnal and I think I just needed this to sort of rejuvenate. The name Floc, where did it come from? Is it an acronym? Is it what?
I'm not even sure. I did a couple of street art workshops a while ago, and I drew this bird, and I was like, "That's awesome. What can I do that's like a bird name?" And I was writing Floc off because I was I was a teen, and I was like, "Oh, that's edgy, but not a swear word." And then when I wanted to start creating music, I thought I was gonna have street art and music, but I'm really not an artist, so I just went with Floc. FLOC. So and my middle name's Florence, and I was like, oh look, it's one syllable that I don't have to think too much about it.
Smart. I like it.
Yeah.
How did you get your start in the music business? You've been playing since you were a kid, or?
Oh yeah, I guess I started playing flute when I was 9 or 10, and then I moved to Ballarat, and I was playing flute at high school, and then because I went to Ballarat High, they were oh, big music thing, and I picked up trombone. Then I was trying to play edgy Nirvana and Kiss Chasey on the trombone, but the riffs just didn't hit the same. So I started playing bass, I took that all the way through and studied it a bit at uni, and then stopped, and then I started doing hip hop, which got me interested in electronic music, and now I'm doing pop music. So it's a bit of a long-winded answer, but it's yeah, I guess that's how it happened.
It just means you've diversified quite a bit over such a short span.
Yeah.
So were you always big on hip hop? Did you always have an interest for hip hop and pop and things like that?
I always found when I first started songwriting lyrics, I always had too many to fit in one spot, and people would be like, "Oh, just cut them out and it'll sound better." But I couldn't do it, so I just started rapping. I was like, "Oh, that works." And then I joined a hip-hop collective in Melbourne called Dig Deep at the Arts Centre, and that was just awesome. I just found a group of people I connected with, and people who were using Ableton, and I was like, what is that? And I got into Ableton, and it was just a really awesome place to start, and that's how I got into it.
That's
but
great.
It's not really hip-hop anymore, it's just...
Yeah. Well, it's evolved, I suppose, is a way to say it. But
yeah.
So did you find did rapping come easy to you then?
At the time, yeah, because I was I don't know, I'd just start writing and it would just come out. Still the same now, I can just write and write and write, but I guess now I'm not really writing raps anymore. I'm just writing songs, but I do still go back to it and mix it in with pop and stuff.
Yeah, you want to try and keep that little influence going that you had from the beginning into your music as you progress. So, speaking of Ableton, I don't know. I know nothing about it. I know how it works, and I can stare at it for an hour and look at all the buttons and go, yeah, cool, all right. You're studying at the moment. You're doing a Bachelor of Music, as I'm shortening it to, because you said it was quite long. How have you found study over the last couple of years?
I've loved it. So I started off studying performance with bass, and that was fun to start with, but I found I just hated playing bass after a while because I associated it with stress. And when I got to hip hop, I saw electronic music, and I was like, okay, change my major to composition and music production, and it's really technology based and songwriting, and I was able to learn how to create with electronic music and record and mix and master. So it's been really cool. You just learn everything.
It's probably really, really handy for a solo artist because you're filling in all those gaps by yourself, which is fantastic. So
yeah.
And how have you found the transition to online over the last year?
I reckon to start off, I loved it. Because all my exams were online, and I could do a little bit of a sneaky Google search if I didn't know a question.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess practical sides, trying to play in ensembles, is just ridiculous. You're sending each other stems and mixing it. It's good to practice mixing, but it's some people don't have mics, so they're using their phone, and you just... But I think it'll be good to go back and actually play with people again.
Oh yeah, 100%. And we're all dying for it. I think even just there's something about not only just the social aspect of music as a whole, but like that feeling of just being on stage, I think. And I feel also like any nerves you might have had previous to that will be dead in the water because everyone's going to be dying for music to come back. So it's going to be good.
Yeah, well, I always find like performing the bit in between each song where do I say something or do I just move on? And like I've done gigs where I chose to say nothing and just play, and then people were like, you didn't talk much. I'm like, oh. So the next time I played a gig, I spoke, and like my friends were like, that was so awkward. Why did you talk so much? So now that's what I think about the most. I don't even care about the song. I'm just like, do I talk or not?
Well, and that's the worst part, because the more you think about it, like between songs, the worse it's going to come out when you actually try to say something.
Yeah, and I watch the videos back of it. It's always painfully awkward. I'm like, oh, whatever. Like, is what it is.
We'll move forward through your history. So you got to play at Grampians Music Festival, which is pretty big for like getting a festival slot at, you know, your age is quite impressive. How'd you find that?
I applied for they had an electronic music producer competition thing, so I entered that with some demos that I just have on SoundCloud, and I was lucky to get a spot. But yeah, that was really cool. Like I like started the year off working at festivals because I figured I'd probably never play one anytime soon. I was just doing like the odd jobs, like, you know, empty the rubbish, whatever.
Yeah.
But then yeah, I got a slot and I was like, wow, this is awesome. And like, yeah, it's just really cool.
Shortly thereafter, you released your first single.
Yeah.
Was that your first sort of solid experience with recording?
I guess. So I said most of my songs are like I've composed them, I've produced them, I've mixed them, but this was through a program called Big Sky Girls, which I was lucky to be a part of. Like they flew 12 girls up to Brisbane and we stayed there, and we did like songwriting courses and met like some really awesome people, and then went back, wrote, and then we went back to Brisbane and they recorded like a song each for us.
Perfect.
Yeah, for a compilation album. And I think it's really awesome having other people do that, because I really struggle to finish stuff. I think a lot of people struggle to finish, but
Amen to that, yes.
Yeah, I had this deadline and all I had to do was write it and perform it, and then the mix goes to someone else, and someone else does the master, and someone else puts it out. And like, it's just, yeah, easy to get stuff done when there's like a line of people.
So was the concept for the song, was it something you'd already started or been working on, or was it something you just made as you worked through this program with the other girls?
Yeah, well, I was in iHeart Songwriting Club, which is a Brisbane-based songwriting club thing.
Yep.
And they had like a 10-week course where you get put with a mentor and another group of people, and you all sort of give each other like positive feedback on each song, and you have to write a song each week with a different theme. And I followed a theme which was like grandmother's house, and I somehow got to haunt me.
It seems like a natural progression.
Yeah. And then I think I sort of wrote it about like when you're a kid you're scared of ghosts and stuff, and people are like the safe thing, but now I'm like, damn, like people are terrifying. Like haunt me, like I'd rather see a ghost.
Yeah.
Like,
smart and very agreeable. So the last gig you did get to play before all this nonsense was the Eastern. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
The hip hop night?
Yeah.
Yep. Do you hold on to that memory very dearly now, since that was like the last live show? Or?
Yeah, well, the hip hop nights are really good. Like that's me and a couple of friends, so with Matt Healy, Shorty, Mike, and MB, and we put on those nights together each month at the Eastern. And I guess I do hold that dearly, because I think it was like MB played, I think Inca and Raro played, and they're some of my favourite like local artists. So I don't really look back at my own performance, but I just see the other people, and I'm like, that's such a good experience. I'm glad that was like the last one. Like.
So obviously after that COVID hit, and you quickly actually made the change to to the virtual and streaming gigs once that became a thing. So like the Eastern's done one. Did you do the one for Volta?
No, I did. Yeah, so Sanitize.
Yeah, so that was part of the
Yeah, so I did at the Eastern the first week, which is really cool.
And how did you find, like, A, sitting in an empty venue, and B, having to basically live stream a performance, like.
Well, empty venue is not like a new concept. No, yeah, I thought it was really interesting because like there's no audience there to like look at, and I watch it back and I'm waving at the camera like hello, hi, and it's just me waving for like I didn't know when the camera started, so it's really funny. But yeah, it was pretty cool because I wasn't really like thinking about who was watching me. It just felt like there was like two people there and I was playing, and you watch it back and you're like, oh wow, people did watch it. So yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, I made a night of it. I remember like stopping at the bottle shop on the way home and then sitting there and just watching the gig and drinking, and it was fun. It was enjoyable. Like it was an experience.
Yeah.
It was definitely different, but I appreciate what the guys did, like organising that and going to the lengths that they did to throw something together under, you know, extreme circumstances. Like they were very quick to react, and it turned out really well.
And it was awesome, like getting to see like, because I got there when another band was playing, just getting to see all the cameras move around, and it's just awesome.
One thing I have noticed over the last 6 months basically is that you've really smashed social media. I reckon, like, compared to some people, you've done it fairly consistently and done it pretty right, whether it's sharing the fact that you're doing a live stream or what you're collaborating on, or, you know, even just sharing other people's gigs and like-minded stuff. Has that been hard for you to try and keep that consistency? Or?
I didn't really notice, like, because I thought I'd been dropped off a bit, but I guess because like when you're in lockdown, you can't go out. Social media is like going out, and I love posting like my friends' songs and listen, like hoping someone will pick it up. And I've had some pretty cool things to post. Like I had that Sanitize gig, and I did a stream show for Fully Sick, and I did one for Hepburn Freezer Council. I think it was pretty cool, and I've got a art commission coming out, so I've had constant stuff to share, which has been cool. I was talking to like the guys last week about trying to keep on top of social media, and like they hadn't posted anything in the last 6 months, so it's interesting to see like how people take it on, because obviously like it's harder if you don't have any content at the time, sure, but if you can find content, then well done. Well, I really there was a good week there, I reckon. I like live streamed nearly every night. Not that there was anyone watching, but I was like, I'm about to practice, I may as well film it. And then I'd have a beer, and I'd sit it there, and then when I finished the live, I'd post it, hashtag the beer, and I got all these beer accounts following me. I was like, yes! I was like,
sponsorship deal, please.
Yeah.
Alright, so obviously the big one itself, lockdown. How has it affected you, A, financially, and B, creatively through all this?
I guess I'll go financially first. Like, I think this is the first year I've been constantly doing something creative and been paid for every creative thing I've done, which is like pretty crazy. Like, because I've just spent so many years volunteering, so it was really cool. Like, I landed an art commission with the art gallery, which will come out in February next year, which is all just like sound and techno sort of stuff. And then I got to co-curate Isolate in Ballarat with Abby Ashmore, which is really cool, and I got paid for that. And just being involved with like facilitation, like I facilitated a production program for like youth in Ballarat, which is cool. So I guess like a lot of it's been freelancing and like trying to create my own opportunities and find things, which has been cool, but not really performing. If that answers the question.
Well, no, I mean that's the thing. Like, obviously, with performance not happening, people have to find new avenues,
Yeah.
like, you know, for
And like,
income.
and because I'm a student, I'm lucky enough to get Centrelink's. That's been a pretty
Yeah.
big privilege too, because it went up this year, and I've just been, and I guess creatively, like, I'm writing every day. I'm writing new things every day. I have like 3 or 4 separate like Zoom calls each week that I do each night. And some of them are just sitting and talking about music. Some are just seeing what people are up to. Like if they have a work in progress, we show and tell. And sometimes it's like you're just showing someone a shitty beat, but they'll show you something phenomenal, and you're like, wow, how did you do that? And people breaking down how they did that, and that's been really like motivating for me.
Yeah, so like just online communities basically where you're learning and also sharing your art. That's
and even like Ableton user groups, like we'll just make a beat for an hour and show and tell. Like it's just I've just been really active on like trying to find communities, I guess, because I'm usually pretty introverted, but I guess when you're on a Zoom call, there's no pressure to think about how you're going to get there, what you're going to say.
The biggest thing I put in the forefront of my mind when it comes to Zoom is that I'm in my comfortable space.
Yeah, and
I can set it up however I want. I can sit there in my PJs. I don't care. Like
you can put a cool background.
Yeah.
and if you just be like, oh, my internet's and
yeah, exactly. Oh, something's gone wrong, and yes, nothing actually happened. I'm just over it. Staying creative and doing writing this entire time. What is next? What comes after all this for you?
Well, I'm in my last study period at uni, so I have a composition portfolio, and I've been trying to create that with like the Floc in the background, so I can hopefully just write that, and then I'll have like an EP that I can release or something, or even just a single. I'll also have the art gallery like music coming out, which I'll release under Sarah Barclay, which would be really exciting to put out because it's like really experimental, and I've put a lot of work into it. So yeah, that should be cool.
So how does the art gallery process work there? What exactly, like, are they putting something out by you, or?
So I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But I know the installation goes up in February, and it was in collaboration with Donna Blackall, who's a weaver.
Oh, yeah,
so
yep.
She'll have all her woven pieces up, and my soundtrack sort of goes to it. So that'll be played in the art gallery for a while, and I guess after that I might look at releasing it. I'm not really sure how it works, but yeah.
So it's fully instrumental then, the piece, or?
No, it's a mixture. So I have a lot of field recordings of like birds and nature, and some of it's really edgy, like talking about COVID and COVIDiots and stuff. And then I've noticed so many birds out lately, so I had to record all the birds.
Naturally,
It's just what COVID sounded like to me, pretty much. Just my interpretation.
No, that's cool. It's an interesting concept, and not one that I'm used to hearing from people, like that they get to do a piece for the art gallery. That's actually really cool.
I was really surprised. Like I just got a phone call one day, and they're like, yeah, we'd love you to come and do this. And I was like, okay. And like working with an artist of a different medium, like weaving, like I had to really think about like how do I collaborate with that? It's sound and weaving, and it's been really cool.
An experience.
Yeah.
Last question, and the question that I've been asking everyone so far. What do you think is the big thing or the main thing that you will bring out of all this, out of the last sort of 6 months?
I don't know. I think I've just found a new way of communicating with people, maybe. Like, I think I've just gotten better at communicating and finding new people I haven't met before, because usually that's like at gigs and stuff, but now I know how to approach people online.
A new way to network, basically.
If that's a weird thing to say,
No,
I don't
no.
know, but like, yeah, I've gotten better at like just pitching myself, I guess, like, hey, I do this, would you like to collab, or just meet up for a coffee? And
Yep.
yeah, so that's been cool. Like, I've met people who are DJs who apparently live in Ballarat but we've never heard of each other, so that's been really cool. So
Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to also get out of doing the podcast is like, we've never met before.
Yeah, it's just added to a group chat.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
And yeah, it was literally just one of my friends going, hey, I think these people will benefit from this, and adding them to the group. So you're one of the people, you're the first one. So I actually had to do some research and put some effort in, but no, it's been good, and it is a way for me to sort of connect with a lot of the musos that I haven't met yet or worked with. Or,
maybe I'll have a gig at the Monsters Arms.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm working on getting the outdoor stuff set up at the moment so that we can start gigging again, but it's all about getting stuff from the council, which is always fun. Anything else you'd like to add?
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for being here. It's been fun. So where can people find you? At Floc, I'm assuming?
So on Instagram at floc.music. On Facebook, I think it's at flocgirl. But I'd love it if you found me on Triple J Unearthed and left me a review, and I'll review you back.
Yes, the single is up on Haunt Me.
Haunt Me.
Up on Triple J Unearthed, so I gave it a couple of listens today.
Oh,
no worries. All right, thank you for coming.
yeah, thanks for having me.
No worries.